Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, and that's Jordan. And we are here to bring you virtually our week 3 picks. So let's get started.
Jordan, I believe we'll start with you, but first off, as you can see, this is not our normal set. Jordan and I are literally doing this from our dorm room. Ryan, obviously, still at his home with the nice Touchdown Table logo in the background.
Yeah.
So this is going to be similar to what it looks like for a little bit, and we'll fix some different things. We don't have microphones for this video. We left them at home. So hopefully next week we'll have that for you guys. But this is what it's going to look like until we find a new setup or whatever happens. So without further ado, we did miss week 2, but week 3 is upon us. Week 2, by the way, is on our Instagram if you want to see how good/bad we did. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting off great. All these Thursday night games have been so fantastic recently. Last week was so great. The Giants and Washington. What a game. Actually, was a good game at the end of the day. But now we got the Panthers and the Texans. Now, I actually do like the Panthers. I think they're really good. And, of course, Ryan, I can't tell if you're wearing a Texans shirt right now. I think it's probably touchdown. It is Texans, okay. So he's a Texans fan back there, so he'll be paying absolute close attention to that one. Texans have played well recently. Against the Browns, kept it a lot closer than everyone thought. And, of course, beat Jacksonville in week 1. Even this guy didn't expect it behind me. And I don't think they're going to do it, though. The Panthers, they've been playing some good football thus far. Beat the Saints last week. Win this one, 21-17.
Yeah, so you kind of made a lot of good points there. The Texans, they've impressed me. I didn't even think they were going to pull off the win against Jacksonville to start the season, and they did that, and they did that dramatically. And I was very happy with the way they played against Cleveland. Just really, I do feel terrible for Tyrod Taylor. It's almost kind of eerie at this point. It's always early season injuries with a young quarterback behind him, but that's the game of football. But I do feel bad for Tyrod Taylor. He's just been very unlucky in his career. But it's Davis Mills time. And I know the Panthers' defense has been playing really well. They've got some young guys there that are making a lot of plays. Some guys they brought in. Hassan Reddick's been doing some good things to start the year. But let's not forget the Texans did a really good job of neutralizing, for the most part, Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney last week in Cleveland. So I think that they will be able to give Davis Mills enough time to make some plays. He's more mobile than people give him credit for. And you know what? This season's been a bit crazy. Lots of crazy games, as Jordan said. So you know what? What the heck? The Texans are going to keep the Thursday night football fun going, and I think they pull off the win in week 3 over the Panthers. 30-27. Also, just to note, Joey Sly's kicking for the Texans right now, so he's going up against his former team, so we'll see if he gets some revenge.
Nice. All right, my turn now. I unfortunately don't think it's going to be the greatest game. The Thursday night streak might be lost, and that's because I have a lot of confidence in the Panthers. I don't think the Texans have looked that bad. In fact, if Tyrod Taylor stayed on that team, they could have had a chance to win a couple more games than people anticipated, which is a lot because people anticipated 1 or 2 wins this season.
Yeah, some people didn't even have us winning a couple.
Yeah, right. But I think this Panthers defense is legit. The offense is starting to get better and better as the weeks go on. So I think that results in them winning 27-14 on the road. And now we move to the Sunday slate, which is the Washington football team and the Buffalo Bills. This could be a good game as well. Washington's defense has not been very good, and I say that for a couple reasons. One, because they're on my fantasy team, and that's been unfortunate for me.
Sound like me.
Yeah, I know, right? And no, but their front seven has not been as great as it could be. A lot of people expected that to be absolutely dominant, and going against this Bills team is not going to help them in many cases. I think they keep it close, but the Bills get their second win in a row, winning this one 30-24.
Yeah, I like what you mentioned about Washington's defense. They really haven't quite been playing as good as advertised. And in Buffalo, week 1 was kind of ugly, but week 2, they really looked like the Buffalo Bills team we saw last year. Josh Allen looked more like himself. They dominated Miami last week. I think this is going to be kind of ugly because, you know, Washington, they still do have a good front seven, even if they haven't done quite as much as we would have expected. I think Washington's front seven will cause some problems for that Buffalo offense, just like Pittsburgh's did to them in week 1. However, I think this one, like I said, it might not be the prettiest win. There might be some ugly plays, might be an example of winning ugly, but I have the Bills coming out victorious 23-19.
Yeah, I've got the Bills too, and I think they won 35-0 over Miami last week, which is just a dominant performance. Now, of course, Tua went out in that game, and so not the exact Dolphins team that we expected going into it that played throughout it, but they did play pretty darn well. They actually got the ground game going a bit, which is uncharacterized for the Josh Allen-led Buffalo Bills. I don't think they'll do it in this game. I think they'll go back to the past. Stephon Diggs has not had a huge game yet this year. I think this might be the start. I got the Bills winning 24-16. Now, oh yes, Bears at Browns, and I could,
On the way around. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right. I could talk about this one for a while. Of course, the main headline, Justin Fields is starting. If you don't know, two of us here, we're Bears fans. We said he's a Texans fan before. We had talked about that. But, I mean, I'm just on a roller coaster ride right now. I wanted Fields in last week. Then he came in. He threw that awful pick. I'm like, oh, gosh, this guy stinks. He's going to make us lose next week. I want the red-headed man back. So I don't know where I stand right now. But what I do know is I want Justin Fields to have success. And if he does that this Sunday against the Browns, then I'll be quite happy. Do I think he will? I have no idea. I'm in for whatever the heck comes my way. But of course, it's a touchdown table, and I'm picking. So the Bears are winning 24-20.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be exciting to see Justin Fields start. Obviously, a bit unexpectedly because of Dalton's injury, but I think it's going to be a close game, closer than some people might realize. I feel like Fields will show some flashes of excellence. I think he'll make some good throws, but at the same time, I think that also there might be a rookie mistake or two, like the interception you mentioned last week. But at the end of the day, regardless of who's under center for the Bears, I just think Cleveland's the better team. If Cleveland has a lead late, they are just going to pound you to death with that run game. The two-headed monster of Chubb and Hunt is really a weapon for them when they're trying to put away leads late. It worked against the Texans last week. So I think it'll be close. I think both quarterbacks will make some plays, but at the end of the day, I got Cleveland 27-20.
I think this is kind of a favorable start for Justin Fields to be going in this game. Even though a lot of people are saying, that Browns defense, they got Myles Garrett and all of that. But they have not been very dominant in the secondary or even at the front of the front lines. So I think that could result in a closer game than people anticipate. That being said, Justin Fields, his first start could get a bit rough at the beginning. Jordan was very mad about Justin Fields. That pick was not that bad, by the way. Just Logan Wilson tricked the rookie quarterback, and that stuff's going to happen. So I still have confidence in Justin Fields, but not enough to make the Bears win this game. I got the Browns 26-21. Moving on to our next game, that is going to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Detroit Lions. As the Detroit Lions always do on Monday night versus the Packers, they keep it close until the very end once they look disgusting.
No, they had the same score at halftime that they did at the end of the game, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, usually they've been close with the Packers. I'm just saying that same type of idea. Give the fans hope and then lose, basically. So, the Ravens now playing in Detroit. I think that results in the Ravens winning after coming off a great week against the Chiefs last week. Got a win that not a lot of people anticipated. They get another one, 31-20 over the Lions.
I think that, I know that I have a lot of thoughts about the Ravens, but for the sake of time, I'll just keep it brief. They do deserve a lot of credit for what they did last Sunday night against Kansas City. Like you said, Tyler, not a lot of people expected that. I don't think any of us picked that game right. So props to them, but I still have a lot of thoughts and concerns about them as far as long-term things go. But for now, I think the Ravens will be able to use all 3 pages of their offensive playbook to beat the Lions. And, hey, I actually have the same score, 31-20, Baltimore wins.
Yeah, right. I'll pick up probably a part of what you wanted to say here with Lamar Jackson. We were all watching that primetime Sunday night game, great football game, and Lamar Jackson, he balled out. There's no question about it. But the thing is that it was basically just Lamar Jackson balling out. I mean, the defense made some plays, of course, forced that fumble at the end of the game, but it was Lamar Jackson's show, and he's got to step up to that level every single game to win. Of course, the Chiefs are a great team, so he won't have to play that well to win every single game, but you could just see the effort that he had to exert into that single game that was all on his shoulders. And can they do that throughout the season into the postseason? If they make it, can they win a Super Bowl based off of that? I say no. However, they will win that game, based off of that, because they're playing the Lions and they are a pretty decent team. 31-20, Lamar and his squad taken.
Let me just point that out. I was about to say, if this score is 31-20, we are going to have a standing ovation. You guys have to give us a standing ovation in the next video because we all picked 31-20 Ravens. Anyways, let's move on to the Cardinals.
Yep, Cardinals, not the Panthers. It's Cardinals. Cardinals playing Jacksonville. Jacksonville having a rough start to their season. Trevor Lawrence not looking like people hoped he would. Urban Meyer, I've heard there's been some complications. A lot of people might not like him. I don't know. I'm not in the organization, but either way, I like the way the Cardinals have been playing some football. Got lucky last week against the Vikings because, of course, they missed a field goal at the end of the game to win it in Vikings fashion. But I've been really impressed with Kyler Murray. I think he should cut his hair again. But besides that, he's played very good football this year. 32-21. It won't even be that close. I think Arizona beats Jacksonville swiftly.
Yeah, very interesting game here. I feel like this is just going to be one of those weird ones. I got an upside here. I got Jacksonville coming out on top because I just think, with these rookie quarterbacks who have struggled like Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, I just think, we got to remember, it's still a new league. They're both with new head coaches. So it's not necessarily a red flag that the Jaguars are 0-2. Yes, I know both of the losses haven't been particularly pretty, but I think Jacksonville can win this one. I think that just if Trevor Lawrence is the player that we all know he can be, if they just finally get in a rhythm, I think it'll be a back-and-forth game, similar to how the Cardinals game against the Vikings was. This isn't really a knock on the Cardinals. They've been playing good football. Their pass rush is making plays offensively. They got guys they can get the ball to in the big moment. This is just a good old upset. I got Jacksonville 34-31.
All right, I'm surprised to see that. I was going to say this one might be one of my locks of the week, just because the Jaguars have not looked good. And I think the Cardinals are becoming more and more legit as the weeks go on. I know there's only been two, but I'm still not going to say they're a playoff team yet, but I think Kyler Murray's clearly at the top of the MVP list right now, and they're playing better than they have in recent years. And I think that results in a win on the road against Jacksonville, with the Cardinals winning 28-13. Next up is the Chargers and the Chiefs. This is another one where I think could be a sneaky good game this week. The Chargers
sneaky. It's not sneaky. It's Justin Herbert versus Patrick Mahomes. There's nothing sneaky about that one.
But a lot of people know it's the Chiefs and the
game.
Chargers didn't make the playoffs last year, whatever. We all respect the Chargers here at the table. For us, it's kind of obvious. But I think the Chargers put up another fight in Arrowhead. Is it still called Arrowhead, or they changed the name?
It's like
I think the stadium's called the same thing. I think they just changed the field name.
GEMA at Arrowhead.
Yeah.
So the Arrowhead's still there, but I remember seeing that when I was there in the summer. I went to a White Sox Royals game, and I noticed that, and I'm like, oh, like it's not just Arrowhead anymore. Like they got to say, I don't know. I think it's GEMA. I'm not sure, but the Arrowhead is still there. It's just not just Arrowhead anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The stadium's name is Arrowhead, and the field's name, I'm assuming, is like the actual grass or whatever it is.
Well, I'm still just gonna call it Arrowhead.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, me too.
I don't know how that advertising tactic is gonna work.
Anywho, I got the Chargers keeping it close. I have them going to the playoffs and beyond, but I don't think they have the ability to beat the Chiefs just yet. They lose 35-33. Chiefs win.
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much thinking alike here, because I got a very similar score prediction, not the same this time. 35-32, Kansas City wins, although the talent gap between these two teams is not as wide as people think, but for now, the Chiefs hold on.
Sorry, I'm just looking at what they picked to kick, because I'm in the same area of their scores. But I don't know what I was going to say, because I was not listening.
Just pick your winner.
Yes, I will pick my winner. As I said, good game. Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. That's a great matchup. We'll see another time this year, as they're in the same division. It'll be exciting. This one's in whatever the stadium's called. 34-30. I got Mahomes bouncing back after that tough loss on Sunday Night Football. Clyde, I still love you. You need to play better, though, okay?
This is his first fumble. Give him a break.
All right, Saints at the Patriots. This one could be very interesting. The Saints, up and down this season. First week, really good. Last week, looked really bad against the Panthers. Or I guess, I don't know. You could say that. Is an opinion, I guess. And then the Patriots, they've been kind of at a steady, decent level these past couple games. Wilson probably gave them about 80 opportunities to make plays last week, when, of course, Wilson, I'm referring to Zach Wilson of the Jets, the quarterback who threw, 4 picks. So that one was more of a gimme for the Patriots, but I've liked how they played football. I think Jameis bounces back in this one, though, and it's the season that we probably expected to have from Jameis. Really good week once, and then next week it's completely different. That's just kind of the quarterback he is, going back to his days in Tampa Bay. But he'll have a good one this time. He'll be eating a W 27-24 over Mac Jones' Patriots.
Yeah, this one is really one of the more interesting games of the week, just in the sense of I could really see it going either way. However, like Jordan alluded to, the Saints have just kind of been unpredictable, but I feel like the Patriots are in a bit more of a rhythm. They found a bit more of an identity, especially on offense. Mac Jones has played overall really well in these first 2 weeks, and I think it'll be a close, not crazy high scoring game, but I just think in the end, Mac will make enough plays, use the players around him, know his own abilities. The same stuff he's been doing in the first 2 weeks of his career, but also back at Alabama. Should be a tight one, but I got the Patriots taking it at home 21-17.
All right, that leads to me now. I think both of these teams have a shot to be good, a shot to make the playoffs. Patriots defense, I just want to highlight really quickly. They could be one of the better in the league by the time we get done with this season.
Last week was a gimme.
But I still think they got a very good defense. They made a couple new additions in the offseason. J.C. Jackson needs to get his money after the season because he's already showing he deserves it. And I think the Saints had a bit of an off week, or maybe that first week was just a lucky week. Who knows? We'll find out. I still have confidence in both these teams, but I got to pick a winner. I went with the home team, 24-20 in favor of New England. The next game is the Falcons and the Giants. Who's going to get a win? Well, someone's got to win eventually.
That's not true. They could tie.
They could tie, but we're not picking ties here at the touchdown table. We're picking wins, and I think the better team, even though they've lost both their games, has been the Giants in the past 2 games. I don't know. In the past 2 games, the Giants have looked a lot better, so I'm going to pick them to win 30-23 over the Falcons.
Yeah, I feel like if there was a game in the NFL season that was going to end in a tie, this would be just such a tie type game. I feel like that both of the teams would just simultaneously blow so many chances to win the game that it would end in a tie. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not picking a tie, but I mean, both these teams are 0-2. But I feel like especially last week, it just feels like they're different types of 0-2. The Falcons really have just not impressed me whatsoever these past few weeks. I know they played the Bucs last week, and that's obviously a tough game, but they kept that close for a little bit, but then the Bucs kind of pulled away. And the Eagles game, that was just a mess against a team that a lot of people expected them to be able to do a little bit more against. But with the Giants, yes, same record, the losses count the same, but still a lot more to build on, I think, from the first 2 weeks on the Giants side compared to the Falcons. But again, both of these teams are so inconsistent and so unreliable that this is just about a toss-up. However, like Tyler said, I think the Giants are playing better football right now. 24-20, they win.
Yeah, toss-up for sure. The Falcons, we didn't expect them to be great coming into this season, but I mean, last week, as you said, Ryan, they kept it close for a little bit, but the week before that, not very good against an Eagles team and defense, who I thought would be much better. Nobody expected this Falcons defense to play great, but you surely expected their offense just to take a little bit of step up. I know they lost Julio Jones, where they brought in Kyle Pitts. He hasn't done very much yet this season. I'd like to see him get more involved. I didn't go back and watch it, so I'll take your word for that one. But still, you want to see him get more involved. You want to see Calvin Ridley get some more passes, although I think I was playing against him last week or this week in fantasy. I don't know. Either way, I'd like to see the Falcons offense do better. I think they'll do just enough in this game against a tough but not great Giants defense. And their offense will probably, Daniel Jones will probably throw or fumble the ball, I should say. Score 26-24. Falcons get their first win of the season. Now we go to an AFC North battle between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Pittsburgh Steelers, as some people might call it. Tony Dungy says Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, and I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will win this one. Bears played the Bengals last week. They weren't bad. Their defense not too great. Their offense is still trying to put the pieces together, especially because Burrow just came back. They got some new people on that team. And the Steelers, they got to figure out their offense. There's been problems with Big Ben and all that, but I think they will be just fine. I still trust him, and I think their defense will step it up. I think that TJ Watt is good to go for this one, as far as I know at this moment. So I got the Steelers taking down the Bengals 24-21.
Yeah, I've got a field goal game as well. I just think Pittsburgh's defense is going to make some plays, get Joe Burrow under pressure. I don't think Joe Burrow is going to throw 3 interceptions in a row again, but I do think he'll get flustered at times by that Pittsburgh defense, as many quarterbacks would. But I've got the Steelers winning by a field goal margin at 26-23.
I'm with you guys in the fact that I'm picking a 1-score game. I think the Bengals are going to keep it close. They're a lot better football team than a lot of people might anticipate coming into this year. But I still have them losing. Steelers win 32-27. Next up, the Colts and the Titans. This was a great matchup both times we got it last year.
Last week.
And we're going to be getting it this week. I think the Colts, though, they're in desperation mode, being 0-2. And I still don't know if Carson Wentz is going to play. This was just me saying, Carson Wentz might play. I'm going to pick the Colts just because they need this win 27-21 over the Titans, but this could go either way. I would not be shocked at all if I got it wrong.
Yeah, I feel like even if Carson Wentz plays, he's still not going to be 100%. And I know that the Colts are a good running team anyway, and they've got a good defense. I just think right now the Colts are in a bit of a funk. I mean, I think that with the injuries and just they're not quite who they are going to be. I think the Colts are going to be very good, even if they start 0-3, which, spoiler alert, I think they will. I've got the Titans winning this one, but I still want to make it clear that I am a believer in the Colts and what they're building. I think that they'll still make the playoffs. I think that they could still win that division and still make a run because they're built to win postseason games on the road and make a run with big plays from their defense. But that's later. For now, I think the rough start continues. Tennessee wins 38-23.
This will be a fun one for me here because I got some Colts fans that I know here, and I got a Titans fan that I know here. So they'll be facing up this week. Yeah, that'll be something fun to watch as this game rolls along. But Titans, they won last week. I don't think they should have won last week. The Seahawks dominated them throughout the rest of that for like basically the whole game, and then they made a late comeback at the end. The Seahawks did not get the ball first in the overtime. Then stuff happened, and the Titans ended up scoring and winning, or I don't remember how they scored and won. I think it was a field goal. But either way, they won. Don't think they probably should have, but they did. And the Colts, they are struggling with injuries right now. I like this game, though. It's one of the best games to watch in football, I think. Last year, Tyler said 2 really good games. I think it might not be as competitive this year just because based on what's going on with injuries right now with the Colts. But we shall see what plays out. 28-24, I got the Titans winning again against a beat-up Colts team. New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. Broncos, one of those teams that are undefeated right now, and it leaves me asking the question, why? No, of course, only week 2, so it's not very hard to be undefeated. But if you want an answer to that question, just look at their schedule, who they played. They played Jacksonville in week 1. They played Jacksonville?
Mm-hmm. No, Jacksonville was week
2. Week 1 was the Giants. Yes, thank you. So both of those teams, not very tough competition towards the bottom of the league right now. I'm not saying the Broncos are a bad team. I like Teddy Bridgewater. These guys know it. And I think that defense is stepping up. So I think they are a decent team, but it's been an easy schedule thus far, and this one is no different. They're playing a team that really struggled last week in the Jets against the Patriots, and I think that this will not be the matchup where the Jets take that step up. It's going to be a slow, progressive process, and I think the Broncos should be giving themselves another easy one before their schedule kind of turns it up a little bit. And by that, I mean actually they play a worthy opponent. 27-17, Broncos keep on rolling. Teddy Bridgewater, good job. You earned the starting job, and you're playing well with it.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater is playing well, and the Broncos are 2-0, and the Jets are 0-2, and Zach Wilson has been struggling. And this game is in Denver, and it's their home opener. But you know what? This is the NFL, and weird things happen. I think the Jets are going to get the upset here. Zach Wilson's not, unfamiliar with playing, the high altitude thing. Provo, Utah's altitude was like 4,000 something, so that's not far from Atlanta. So I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. I did look that up before I made the pick because I know whenever teams play at Denver, that's always something they factor in, the altitude, not used to, which is a factor. But Zach Wilson's played in those types of environments before. His conference in college, that's BYU. I think BYU is independent, but they played a lot of Mountain West teams. So I think Zach Wilson, like I said with Trevor Lawrence, with these rookie quarterbacks, there's a reason they were picked number 1 or number 2. Like, they are going to right the ship. It's only a matter of time. It's not if, but when. I think Zach Wilson doesn't throw 4 interceptions, and the Jets upset Denver 27-24.
Ryan, I was almost with you, but I ended up picking the Broncos. Spoiler alert. I gotta say 2 things really quickly. There are some 2-0 teams that people might not have expected, like the Cardinals, the Raiders. But I think those 2 teams are good. The Broncos have just played bad opponents. I think they have a chance to be all right, but in that division, not sure how far they go. That being said, I'm going to give them their 3rd win. And then on the Jets side, I think Zach Wilson's going to be fine. If you watch his channel, I think he's the best quarterback in this draft class. It's going to take a while. It's not surprising to see this happening because of the fact that the opponents that he played, he's still getting used to this, and he doesn't have much help around him. That causes for another loss for the Jets. Broncos win 32-24. Next game is the Dolphins and the Raiders. This would be a closer game, I think, if Tua was playing. But the way the Raiders are playing right now and the fact that the Dolphins just got shut out last week, I think this is an easy one for me. Raiders win 33-27. They're starting to look pretty legit, too. It's not like they've played bad opponents.
Yeah. Looking at this game, obviously, yes, if Tua was playing, that would be an important factor. And yes, without him playing, you think, yes, the Raiders will win this one pretty decisively. But remember, this is the Raiders we're talking about. There's got to be some drama or some late game, craziness. So they can't win too easily, but they will win.
Remember this game last year?
1960.
Drama in this game last year, right? Am I thinking of the
Oh, yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I've got the Raiders coming out on top.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan, I got the Raiders coming out on top too. One of the shockers of this season thus far. I've liked how the Raiders played. I've liked Derek Carr for a while, and I think they've been slowly building up that team. Of course, that's why Gruden had that 10-year contract, because they expected him to get that slow rebuild into dominance. And I'm not saying they're dominant yet, but I am saying they've impressed me thus far. I expected good things from their offense, but their defense has played better than I would have thought coming into this season. I still didn't think they had enough veteran pieces to really play well, but they are showing that a little bit differently early on in the season so far. My phone turned off, so I got to get the score. There it is, 23-16. The Raiders keep on winning. Second game in Allegiant Stadium. Oh, Tom Brady against the Los Angeles Rams. I almost said Las Vegas Rams. That would be a first. And it probably wouldn't be a last. But anyway, so this will be a good game. Rams, a lot of people like what they've done the past 2 weeks. I'm no exception. The Bears played on week 1 on Sunday Night Football. You saw that embarrassment that I had to go through that night. And I think the Rams are good, but it's going to be really awesome to see them play against a really strong opponent like we have here in Tampa Bay. I love what the Rams can do. I think they have a fantastic team, but I want to see what it's like against the best of the best competition in the NFL. How will Stafford go up against Tom Brady? I think it'll be a close game, but I think Tom Brady and his Bucks go 3-0, 34-28. TB12 beat MS. What's his number this year? I don't know. 9.
You're gonna say something like that. You gotta know that.
Yeah, you gotta be ready for it.
Yeah.
I thought I can get in the fly. This is not abnormal for me.
All right, go ahead, Ryan. Save Jordan.
Okay.
How's MS9 gonna do?
What?
How's MS9 gonna do? He said. How's Stafford gonna do?
Oh, well, I'll tell you. I am so excited to watch this game. I think it's an NFC Championship preview. I think that it's going to be a back and forth game. I think both teams are going to bring their A game, and it's just going to come down to a couple big plays late in the fourth quarter, like it so often does when two really good teams get together. But I want to bring this up. We all should remember the game. It was a Monday night game, I believe. The Rams went to Tampa and beat the Bucs, and the Bucs are basically almost identically the same team they were then, because we talk about all the Super Bowl returning starters, all that. The Bucs are basically the same, but let's not forget last year the Rams went into Tampa with Jared Goff and beat the Bucs. So now the Bucs come to them, and the Rams have Matthew Stafford. So in theory, they should be able to do it again. But regardless of that, I do think the Rams are the best team in the NFC this season. I've been consistent in that belief ever since we released our Super Bowl picks. This could be a big one that we come back to when the playoff seeds come out. We figure out, who's playing where. And it's early to talk about that. But in terms of playoff seeding, this game could have a big impact. The Rams win it 28-24. I just want to say I am very excited for this one.
Me too. And when I was making these picks, I sat there for probably about 3 minutes going back and forth as to which team I would pick, and I'll give you the team in 1 second. Ryan, you mentioned it as well. I think this is not a bold prediction to say that this could very easily be an NFC Championship game waiting to happen. But the factor that gave the winning team their win was they have more experience playing together. It's still earlier on in the season, so I think that gives the Buccaneers the ability to go in on the road and win this game in a tight one. High-scoring game, 36-30 in favor of the Buccaneers. Ryan, like you said, I am also very excited for this game. Next up, the Seahawks and the Vikings. Both teams have found themselves in close, good games last week. They both lost their close, good games last week. So they're both looking to recover. Vikings still looking for their first win. I don't think they get it. I think Seattle's able to go in on the road, winning 29-23. And this could be another one where it comes down to the last minute.
Yeah, before I make the pick, I want to extend my, condolences to Vikings fans. They've really been through it these past few weeks. Also to that,
Jordan
the
doesn't
radio
feel that.
announcer who
Hey, I
thought it.
I like
Yeah.
the
Thought about
Vikings.
it, but in his defense, we have all
Not
called
really.
high school football games before. It is hard to tell.
It
if
is.
that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
first thing I said when I saw it. I was like,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I yes,
can't
you
really
can
tell.
look at the official, but think about like he's caught up in the moment, emotions running high. You're just waiting and wait. Like it just all happens so fast, so you might not really think about it. But
he's a good
Yeah,
announcer.
you
I've
have-
heard him in the NFC because he's in the NFC North. I hear his calls all the time. So he'll recover,
Yeah.
but that's going to be on his
It's
brain for a while.
good. No,
yeah,
you
oh,
missed
yeah, but
it.
I just felt like I had to say that, and obviously
Yeah,
I
of
know that
course.
we've all broadcasted games
As
in high school
broadcasters
before.
ourselves, we feel for him.
Absolutely, that's a
All
good way
right,
to
let's go
sum
make
it
the
up.
pick here.
And hey, if it's any other competition Vikings fans, I'm picking your team this week. This game just has offense written all over it, in my opinion. Vikings win 35-28.
Oh, sorry, I'm up. yes, I am up. And can we get the Chargers to play in this game? Because that would be the three teams that had tough losses last week coming down to the end of it, at least that I can think of. We can get our first three-team matchup. I don't know, that'd be fun. No, just kidding. That wasn't a funny joke. I know none of you are laughing. You probably want to click off this video right now, so I'll just tell you the Seahawks are going to win this one, 27-23. I like the Vikings, though, this year. Me and Kirk Cousins, we've made up. My brother's friend met Kirk Cousins at a golf course, and so we're
That has caused you to like him. Apparently.
yes, that and other factors as well. But so we're pals now. Also, Adam Thielen because he's on my fantasy team. Packers at 49ers Sunday Night Football. Had this one last year, and I think George Kittle did good in that game. He better do good in this game because I'm disappointed in his fantasy start thus far. It's more disappointing in Jimmy Garoppolo, but that's expected because I hate his guts. Just kidding, he's fine, but he's a new Kirk Cousins. 31-21. I have Jimmy Garoppolo's team losing to the Packers, but George Kittle's going to score. At least I pray.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not picking against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. They already had their bad game for the month, so I think that Green Bay is going to come in and just be the better team. I think they're just a little bit more reliable offensively. I mean, when in doubt, just go with the better quarterback. That's what I'm doing here. I think the Packers take it on Sunday night 37-27.
Yeah, a lot of people were freaking out about the Packers after the first week. We saw their true colors in week 2 against the Lions on Monday night. Now they got the Sunday night game against the 49ers, who are not a bad team either. I think they win this one in a close one, 32-27. Now moving on to Monday night, we got our classic NFC East matchup.
At
which
least
we
it's not the
always
Giants and the Cowboys, but that's also Sunday Night
That's the
Football.
same I was going to say.
Yeah,
So last week we got a Thursday night NFC East matchup. Now we got one on Monday
so
night.
exciting.
The Eagles and the Cowboys, I think I said that already. Eagles struggled last week after everyone thought they were going to win the Super Bowl on the first week. Jalen Hurts the best quarterback in the league. No, I'm overreacting.
All he does is run the
That's what
football.
people were saying. But no, they
I
didn't
didn't
look
watch
bad
that
in
one,
either of the
actually.
2 weeks, especially not in that first week. They had some improvements from that second game. That being said, the Cowboys have looked good in both of their games so far, even though they're only able to win one of them. I'm going to get them now winning their second. 23-21, Dallas wins.
Yeah, I think we got to give Dallas a lot of credit for what they've done to start the season. I know record-wise they're only 1-1, but week 1 I really feel like they showed us a lot, particularly defensively. I know some of the turnovers they forced in that game were more lucky or more a Tampa player messing up, but if that defense can make plays and put their offense on the field a lot and in good position, they could hang with and potentially beat anyone in the league. So I think Dallas is a playoff caliber team. I think they've really impressed me and impressed a lot of people. The question is whether they're willing to admit it. Over the first 2 weeks of the season, I think that continues into week 3, and they beat their NFC East rivals 33-26 to cap off the week of football.
Yeah, I like Dak Prescott. I like Tony Pollard, and I am a Jalen Hurts skeptic, and so I got the Cowboys winning 30-23. Dak Prescott's on my fantasy team as well. You disappointed me last week, buddy. Play better this week. You're playing against the Eagles defense. If you don't score a touchdown, I might scream.
Oh, that was an interesting one. You say, I like these two players. This guy stinks, and I'm going to call someone out even just for the heck of it. That's what it seems like to me.
Although,
And then
Jalen
they
Hurts,
pick-
I want to see Jalen Hurts play because I haven't watched any of his film yet this year. So it'll be nice to see that, but I'm not expecting much. If he plays well, I'll give him credit. I give people credit where credit is due. I just don't think there's going to be credit due in this game against the Cowboys who have Dak Prescott and Tony Pollard.
All right, that's it. Week 3. We'll see
New
how
setting.
these games go on. Tonight we're filming on Thursday, by the way. The picks will be, we're going to post this probably on Friday. So on Instagram will be our picks to prove that we made these picks before the game actually happened. So you can check that out. If you want, go check out our Instagram. Subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell. Go comment down below what you think of these games, what you thought of what we said about these games. We'd love to hear your opinions.
Do you guys like Tony Pollard too?
Sure, go ahead and comment that too. So that's week 3.
know
Sorry
you
we
do.
couldn't be here last week, but we're here for week 3. Thank you guys for watching. And with that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.
Yeah.